Hi again, guys. Well, you already know my name. It's Jose Antonio. Now, the last time we saw Mastery 2 and 3, we're going to see today Mastery 4, 5, and 6. So these masteries are basic types in Python, basic output, and basic input. And we're going to mix them, the three of them, so because they're really easy to mix. So let's start with this. So basic types in Python is basically the type of variables you can have. You can have string, float, integer, boolean. So for example, here I'm going to write an variable x equal str. This means that x is going to be a string. So I open here the parentheses and I put the quotation marks. So it's a string here, and I'm going to give it the value of hello. Okay. Now this is only one type of variables, well, of basic types. You can also have numeric. So for example, y is going to be equal to int. This means it's going to be an integer number, and I'm going to put 35, for example. And we have, for example, c is going to be float. Okay, this is used for numbers with decimal points. So for example, 45.369. It's just an example. And then we also have booleans. We're going to put, I don't know, a equals true. Yeah, true. Now, this is the basic types. You have it here. Also, let me check a little bit. And also we have here some other type of, well, basic types. We have the list. So for this, it's going to be this instead of the parentheses. So this will automatically creates a list. So we can put several values. For example, we're going to put 9, 7, 5. And also we have, I think that's all. Well, these are the basics you're going to use, basically. So now, what about the input and what about the output? Well, we can erase, well, we're going to leave them like this. So if we want to ask the user for the value or whatever we want, we're going to put x equal, and now we can just leave it like that. Well, not, we're going to put input, and inside the input we can, well, we can just leave it like that, and just the value is going to be given, is going to be the value. So, and we can print this value with print. So we write print just like this. We open the parentheses, close it, and inside print we can put, for example, x. So we're going to print this input we're going to be given. So we save the document, we run it, and here we write, I don't know, 8. So we put the input 8 and it gives us 8 because it's the same variable we gave. So, but this is a little bit confusing because you don't know when you're going to put the value or when not. So we're going to put here inside the parentheses some quotation marks and we can write text in here. So we're going to put enter any value. Now, if we save this and we run it, we can see now that inside the program it prints enter any value. So now we can enter a value again, and now we're going to know why we are entering the value. So 5, for example, and it prints again 5 because it's printing the input. Now, if we put inside this input, for example, again, print any value, I want to write maybe hello, like this is going to print hello again. Now, this is because the input is not defined. But what about if we define it? So we put inside, well, before input we put str, we open parentheses and we put the last parenthesis is needed here, like this, and we save it and run it again. Now enter any value. What happens if we put 4, for example, 4? Now it prints the same 4, but this 4 is not the number. Value is the string of the number, because if we run it again and we put hello 45, it prints hello 45. This is not a number, this is a string right now. And what about if we put, instead of str, we put int? This creates a scenario that now the input is going to be an integer value. So we save it and we run it again. Now enter a value. We're going to put hu, and it shows that we have a problem here. And this is because we tell Python that we're going to put an integer, and it doesn't recognize the integer because we put a string. So we save it and we run again. Now enter a value. We're going to put now an integer number, for example 98, and it will print 98 as we saw. And this can be also put, for example, in a way that we can put a float, and it's going to be actually the same. We save it and run it. Now we put 42.56. We put it here 46 or 43.25, for example. This is going to print us the value in a float, and we can do this with any type of basics here. Now this is the input, but for the output we can put print, and we can do the same as here. So if we put print quotation marks, anything we put inside the quotation marks is going to be shown. So we can put, for example, the next thing is a string. And now we can delete this part, so we can have that X is actually this string, and after the quotation marks we have to put a column like this. Now we save it just like that, we run it, and we can see how this is printed. Like the next thing is a string and it says hello now. So this part is the first part of the printing, because we can do this with any value. So for example, we copy paste this, enter, like that, and now we're going to put the next thing is in the integer number, well, the integer. The next is going to be a float, and the last is going to be a list. So now we have these four types of outputs that are here, and we're going to change the variables so it's prints correctly. Y, C, and A. Now we save it and we print it. Well, we run the program, so now it prints. The next thing is a string and it says hello. The next thing is an integer and it says 35. The next thing is a float and is 45.369. And the next thing is a list and it gives us a list. So now this is the final part, because we already know how to put the basics types inside Python. We know how to print them, and we also know how to enter a value. Just remember and be very careful that you define the variable, for example y equals, and whatever you're putting, for example int, you have to put these parentheses, input, input, yeah, and you have to put the parentheses again, because this is a problem that every time somebody is starting in Python can get trouble with. That is the closing any parentheses you open. And here you can start the quotation marks in, write anything you want. Like this. So just remember to be very careful with this type of writing, and that's all for this topics.